Story 1. I, 22F, regret marrying my husband, 23M, especially after he ruined my birthday. How can I fix what I'm feeling? My husband and I got married a month ago. Honestly, I've been struggling with the decision ever since. There were many things about him that bothered me, and I always felt like I was settling. I kept imagining how much happier I might be with other guys, and often found myself comparing him to others. He's attractive, but he doesn't always act in ways that turn me on. He can be goofy when I need him to be serious, doesn't take good care of his hygiene, and his apartment is always a mess. Some parts of his personality just don't click with me, but I've been trying to love and accept them. When it came to our wedding vows, he chose not to write anything down because he didn't consider himself a writer. He wanted to speak from his heart, but I was nervous, feeling like he might say something off. Sure enough, he turned it into a comedy routine. I felt like he wasn't being sincere and was just trying to make people laugh. Our honeymoon wasn't any better. He was more focused on his new GoPro than spending quality time with me. And I get that he wanted to make memories, but it made me feel neglected. On top of that, I got sick, and he kept pushing me to go out and do things instead of letting me rest. For my birthday, he planned a trip, knowing how much I love traveling. But instead of a relaxing time, he took me on a bike ride to breakfast, even though I didn't know how to ride a bike. He insisted on taking me on the sidewalk, and I almost got hit by a car. It gave me an anxiety attack, and I don't understand why he didn't want to start slow. Later, he took me rock climbing, which I'd never done before. I get that he's adventurous, but that's not my idea of a fun birthday. He made me cry because I didn't enjoy myself, and he never even bothered to ask if I had done any of these things before. He didn't consider what I'd like for my birthday, and even put a 5 candle on my cake. I'm 22, not 5. I love him, but I'm just not happy. I keep thinking maybe I'm ungrateful or have unrealistic expectations. I don't know why I keep fantasizing about divorce or cheating, even though I'm loyal and wouldn't act on it. I just feel like he doesn't really know me. He doesn't ask questions or try to learn what I like. Instead, he's always on his phone or GoPro, and it feels like he's not truly present with me. I keep wishing for the grand gestures that my friends get from their partners, and it's making me feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm an overthinker, and it's making me feel lost. Should I talk to him about all of this, or am I just being too critical? Comment 1. Why on earth did you marry him? You clearly don't actually want to be with him, and that's fine. The obvious solution, however, then is to, not marry them. Comment 2. Ask yourself why you never actually like your husband, but marry him anyway. You seem wholly incompatible, and you knew that going in. So what compelled you to make this choice? Until you can look within yourself and figure out the answer, you won't have a successful relationship. You should go to therapy to try to get to the root of why you decided that at 22 you needed to settle for the first person who wanted to marry you instead of waiting for what you really wanted. Comment 3. Parents, please teach your daughters how to say no. Comment 4. I love him. I mean, do you? You don't like how he talks to you. You don't trust him with your physical safety. You don't find him attractive. You don't like how he keeps house. You don't feel like he knows you, and you're in tears over how unhappy you are. I have to wonder what kind of love was modeled for you as a kid, because this is not love. Comment 5. Girl, you're 22. Why did you feel the need to settle so quick? He is goofy, and that annoys you. I promise you it won't work. You said he doesn't really ask questions about yourself, and made a birthday plan centered around what he enjoys, not what you want at all. It may sound defeating and embarrassing to divorce so quick and so young, but it will be worth it. You can't live with this forever. He doesn't sound like a bad guy at all. It's just you two are too incompatible. Realize that now. Story 2. My 34F husband, 31M, is a picky eater and it's affecting our marriage. My 34F husband, 31M, is a picky eater and it's affecting our marriage. My husband is an amazing cook. Everyone loves the food he makes. Unfortunately, he holds the same standards for others cooking and doesn't enjoy cooking himself every day. So he's constantly disappointed or hungry. It's driving me mad that he won't either eat the food I make or make himself something simple. We've been together for 9 years and married for 4. We now have a 2-year-old child together. It's important to mention that we're from different countries, different cultures, different religions, and had very different childhoods. Despite this, we share the same goals in life, the same central values, and the same attitude to parenting. For a few years, we were in a long-distance relationship, so the food thing was never an issue. Then we lived in my country with my father and took turns cooking meals each night. Also, no issues. I guess he wanted to make a good impression on my father and would eat everything either of us made. Now that we've moved permanently to his country, his home village, he will only eat food from his culture that has been prepared well. Here, it's still common that women cook meals 3 times a day for their family. He knew from the start that I would never be that kind of wife. I've tried learning from his sister the past few years, but it never tastes the same, and the disappointment on his face makes me no longer want to bother. I could spend hours cooking, and he'll eat a tiny bit, then make another meal just for himself a few hours later. It feels like a massive waste of time for both of us. I'm not a picky eater. I'll eat anything. I do not enjoy cooking, but we'll make sure our child and I have food and keep things fairly simple. We live remotely and don't have access to a shop, only markets once a week. I already struggle with not having access to familiar ingredients and figuring out what I can actually prepare. There's only one restaurant where we can eat, and it gets very boring eating the same 2 meals there several times a week. He's never explicitly asked me to cook more, but he does complain a lot that he's hungry, and I just want to hear a solution that he'd be happy with. I've tried asking, "What do you want to eat?" and he won't have an answer. He literally won't eat food from any other culture. All I want is for us to be able to eat dinner together in the evenings. Things I've tried: cooking food from his culture, disappointment that the flavor isn't right. Cooking food that I'm familiar with, won't eat it or eats only a little and needs something with rice later anyway. Asking him to cook, which he does maybe 2 or 3 times a week. These days are happy for everyone. Paying his sister to cook, he thinks she's too busy to do that for us. Cooking just for myself and letting him go hungry. Grumpy, hungry husband bringing the vibes down for everyone else. What to do? TLDR. Husband has high standards for food and won't come up with a solution. It's a constant cause of conflict, and I've run out of ideas to try. Edit. At home, he does half the housework without being asked. He does the food shopping. He does his own laundry and looks after our child. He's the responsible one in his family who people always turn to for help and reliability. We run a successful family business together. He built half our house and manages 3 hectares of land. So this is why I'm so confused, why such a simple task, as eating or preparing food when at home is such a problem. Comment 1. You realize you're describing your husband as a fussy toddler, right? He is not acting like an adult who is capable of feeding himself or requesting solutions of what he would actually want. Just a grumpy toddler who says no to all options you present. I don't think this is on you to resolve. He's an adult. You can make it clear of what you realize is an issue and what you've tried and ID ultimately land on. I've tried XYZ to resolve this issue, and you continue to make my life difficult over this while not being helpful. You can either cook for yourself or eat what I cook you, and I want no complaints. Draw a boundary. He's being dumb, and I don't like hearing women fret over men that want their partners to be like their mothers and tolerate their childish nonsense. You're his partner, and you have an actual baby. He can figure his BS out. Comment 2. Why doesn't he just cook in bulk? He just needs to double the recipe and freeze what he doesn't eat. On days he doesn't want to cook, he can defrost one of the meals he will eat. Whenever he complains he's hungry but refuses to eat, just say, "Oh no," and walk away. Perhaps he enjoys being grumpy and bringing everyone down and continues to repeatedly manufacture the situation to justify doing that. Comment 3. Very simple solution. Stop cooking for him. He's a grown man. He can deal with his own temper tantrums. Story 3. My M30 friend's fiance was rude to my girlfriend F28, and it's costing me my friendships. In 2020, my friends and I moved to the city. A friend's girlfriend brought her friends around, and we formed a friend group where people dated each other. I was the single guy, not wanting to date within the group. My friend dated this girl for a long time. She had maturity and jealousy issues. Later, she set me up with a friend of hers. After a month, I ended it. It wasn't personal, but she made my life hell that summer, sharing secrets and spreading lies. Eventually, I moved on, but there was tension between me, that woman, and my friend's girlfriend, the original Bumble match. My friend eventually got engaged to the Bumble match. Fast forward to this summer, I met my current girlfriend, F28, through my running club. It's my healthiest relationship, 10 months. In January, I was invited to my friend's birthday party, and his fiancée, the Bumble match, was there with the woman I briefly dated. They were passive-aggressive towards my girlfriend and me, and outright rude by ignoring us. My friends didn't say anything, because if his fiancée is unhappy, everyone is unhappy. My girlfriend was upset, and when I told another friend, who wasn't there, how rude they were, they said, "They told me you didn't properly introduce her to everyone." I was furious. I did introduce my girlfriend, and some of them had met her before. She was ignored for 4 hours. My friends outside this group say this behavior is awful and rude. Since then, some of the friends in the group have distanced themselves. Now, they've invited us to their moving-in party with family and friends. I feel like it's a trap, and I don't want to subject my girlfriend to that again. Should I leave this friend group? Am I overreacting? Should I call out my friend's fiancée on her immature/toxic behavior? Comment 1. Sorry, man. Those do not sound like good friends worth keeping. I don't think you're overreacting. Your other friend from outside the group should be a good judge of your character, and it sounds like they're on your side. That's a sign that this group is worth leaving behind. If you try to keep the group, you may end up losing a great girlfriend because of it, and you'll be left with poor friends. Comment 2. Personally, I wouldn't go to their moving home party. Absolutely wouldn't. The way they treated you too at the other event? Why would you want to be miserable the whole night again? And I don't think your girl should be put in this situation again either. They probably wouldn't see me ever again. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.